instead has been a collaboration of a tremendous number of people supporting me, uplifting me, and pushing me forward. Thank you for all of that. If I were to attempt to thank every single individual who was part of this becoming a reality, we would be here for the rest of the night. So in lieu of that, what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, is instead talk more about a fundamental kind of support that I've been blessed to have. And then I'd like to point out a couple of individuals who are here tonight who exemplify just that. Is that kosher? I have found that it's always good, especially these days, to get consent. It started quite young for me because I was blessed with an incredible set of parental units. My mom and my dad, Rich and Diane, who are in the house tonight. Can I get a round of applause? And now they would tell you that I was an easy kid, and by most accounts, I'm sure that is true. However, it should be noted that I did have an awful lot of ideas. You could even say I was a big idea guy even as a wee lad. You shouldn't say that, but you could. And I would come to the dinner table with my latest and my greatest idea. And honestly, sometimes it was more of a proclamation of a new moral and ethical standard by which I was ascribing and everybody else should as well. You see, I was really, really big into right and wrong in my early teenage years. Thank God that was a phase that I learned out. But I would lay it on them, my latest idea, and they would say something to the effect of, okay, we'll see. We'll see. Now, sure, I could have taken that as a dismissal. I could have taken that as some sort of avoidance, but I never did. What I heard with okay, we will see is absolutely not a no. It wasn't a no. And then I was fortunate to have a handful of teachers through junior high, high school, college, and graduate school who also supported me. Not the least of which is my 6th grade teacher and mentor through all of high school, Mr. Lou Staffordino. Where are you, Lou? Oh, Lou! So good to have you here. And that support came in many different ways. It could have been for a crazy topic that I had for a creative writing class in junior high, or for a speech class in high school. But here's a perfect example. When it was my senior year at Miami University, I was in the Western program in the Philosophy's Honor Department. So I needed to do a senior thesis, 100 to 125 pages. So it was a considerable amount of work. Even just the proposal to get your topic approved was 5 to 10 pages long. So I trotted myself down to the philosophy department, the dean, who happened to also be my academic advisor, and in all seriousness, I presented her with my proposal. Are you ready? A specious interpretation of an English translation of a German short story. I kid you not. But wait, there is more. It gets better or worse, depending on how you look at it. It was not the entirety of this Germanic short story. It was just the title.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. A specious interpretation of an English translation of a German short story title.
Okay.
Ein Hund und ein Hund, a boy and a dog. Literally. And the translator turned it into a boy and his dog. He added a possessive onto another sentient being. Man, did that get my panties all up in a bunch. I was going to write a 100+ page rant just on that. And to her immense credit, the dean of the philosophy department read my proposal as I sat across the desk from her. She did not smirk, she did not chuckle, she didn't even roll one of her eyes. No. Instead, she leaned over the desk a bit and said, "Stephen, tell me more." Tell me more is certainly not a no. And then there's my lovely wife. Where is my lovely wife? Michelle gets to hear all the ideas. Daily briefings of ideas. Now, unfortunately for her, most of my downloaded ideas come in the early morning. She would argue middle of the night. Although 3:30 a.m. is on the cusp, if you ask me. Here's how it goes. Honey, are you awake? I've got an idea. Honey, I gotta tell you my new idea. And after 2 or 3 attempts, no sign of life, desperate times, desperate measures, I sit up, I scoop up one of the felines from the bottom of the bed, and I lay it across her neck. So the fur is up in her nose, and she starts to wheeze and sneeze a little bit. I say, "Are you awake?" She's like, "I am now." I say, "I have an idea." And she's like, "Can we talk about it in the morning?" And I said, "It is morning." She said, "A normal person's morning." And she said, "We'll talk about it. We will talk about it." That's not a no. And then I'm further blessed in the present day. I'm surrounded by friends and colleagues, not the least of which is our MC, Mr. Brother Bradley Awful. Let's hear it for Bradley. Brad and I will take these contemplative urban hikes through UA and Grandview, and we will pontificate on all kinds of shit. And I'm sure you can imagine, over the last 12 months or so, this book has been a recurring theme. And one hike not too long ago, I say to him, "You know, we're solid on the visual aspects of this book. The hand-printed font, which he mentioned, the spacing, the cover, visually, we're good. And then the back of the book, of course, you have the link that goes to the hypnosis sessions and the spoken word. So I think the auditory aspect, we're dialed in there as well. I think I'd like to add in a scratch and sniff to get the olfactory senses included in this thing." And you know what this bastard says? He says, "What would it smell like?" He says, "Tell me more." And so, speaking of smelling, you can probably all begin to smell what I'm stepping in here. But just in case you can't, to be clear, it is this. It would be nearly impossible for me to overestimate the power and the beauty of the gift that you can give somebody who comes to you with a new idea simply by being slow to say no. That's all it can take. Because when your friend, or your lover, or your parents, or your offspring come to you with a new idea, they're all bushy-tailed and shit. But don't be fooled, because they are also vulnerable. They've just planted a seed, and they've come to you, and they trust you. They're sharing with you. And the best thing that you can do for them and their seed is to allow it to have space. And you grant them that simply by being slow to say no. And here's the thing. When those seeds have space, sometimes they germinate. And sometimes They even produce fruit. So to all of the beautiful people my entire life who have supported me and my crazy ass ideas by being slow to say no, I thank you. I might need a cocktail before we do a reading. Okay. Apparently I'm doing a reading. And I will admit